Today we're going to be receiving in our lumber package. I went ahead and ordered everything I needed to complete the shop, from the initial 2x6s all the way up to the roofing materials. Trusses will not be here for another couple weeks, but that gives me plenty of time to work on this and get this squared away exactly how I want it before we move on to the roof and the roof system. I will be providing more details as we go here on the total cost of everything thus far, and what that meant, along with working with the supply chain and working out to this point to get to there where I could order. It was been a little bit of a challenge, as most people have realized or heard on the news. There was a considerable cost increase, almost triple the amount that I paid for this lumber here sometime last year. So it's been a matter of watching that and figuring out exactly what needs to take place and when to order, as I watched not only lumber futures drop, but also prices over the last 4 months. So stay tuned, and we will begin building our shop. I don't know where some of this shit's at. This is ridge cap. This is too. It's only 2 items. Everything else goes Well, like everything on this build, you got to double check everything that's sent to you. We're missing two major pieces, which are the anchor bolts and the washers to put all the stuff in, anchor it in. So luckily, Western Building Center is aware of it. They have the materials there, and I'll pick those up later today. Originally, we had planned on starting our build in April. However, with the increasing cost of lumber, which at that point was really starting to rise pretty heavily, we had to make some decisions on whether we were going to hold off and buy lumber later, or how we were going to play that. Wasn't quite sure. So in April, I began tracking lumber prices. The main issue that was happening across the United States is, one, at first there was a shortage because of all the home projects and building that was going on, and the COVID shutdowns. But then the securities market, more specifically the lumber's futures, started to increase to where at one point it was around $1,500 a thousand board feet, and that drove prices over the top. So we made the decision to hold off and start, but we would start with excavation for both the shop and the house, as well as the water cistern. That way we could continue working while we were keeping an eye on lumber packages, on the lumber and what we needed to order. Just to give you an example, I've got some notes, pardon the pad here, but 2x6 12 foot in March or in April was $21.18 per board. Currently this month it's $12.25. A 2x4 12 foot long in May was $14.42 a board, and now it's currently $8.47. And OSB, a 4x8 sheet of 19/32 was $82.22 in May, and currently purchased it for this build at $31.47. Box of nails, just to give you an example, when I was pricing stuff for my nail gun back in May, it was $117 a box, and I currently got it for $70 a box. Rebar, when I was doing the foundations, the original quote was $1,167 for 88 pieces of rebar, and I managed to get that for $753 just by waiting. Granted, there was a gamble there that we had to make in the overall process of whether that lumber was actually going to come down as predicted, or it was going to continue to stay high. Luckily for us, I hedged that bet and started planning for that to happen. So once lumber prices got to this point and kind of stabilized for 3 weeks straight, I decided it was time to order the lumber package for the shop. The house, though, because of some rising costs of inflation and still high lumber prices, we're going to wait and see once building starts to wane here with the change of the seasons as we head into winter. The plan is to continue to watch the lumber prices, and sometime around January or February, I will go ahead and order the necessary lumber and supplies that are required to build the actual house, so that we can continue moving forward through that, at least during the winter. Worst case scenario, I get it out to the property and I just tarp it and leave it, but we'll have it and we'll just wait and see what the lumber prices do. Coming up, we're going to start building here this week. We're going to start framing up the shop and getting that ready to go. And then the next stage after that will be to work on the footers and the stem walls and the foundation for the house once we get the shop done. The overall plan is to get the house dried in, or the shop dried in, before winter hits here heavily. I believe I can do it. I've got all the materials here to get everything on, sheeting and roofing and the actual roof shingles on before the weather turns. At least that's the plan. Plus October is the beginning of a hunting season, and I do plan on taking some time out to go and do that and enjoy that experience as well. Another great development that we walked into today, which is a godsend, is the fact that our sump pump did its work, and also the ground decided to play along. And so now we have finally drained out the excavation and the footer forms for the house, and we'll start once I get everything framed up. In between framing and waiting for the roof trusses, I will work on the actual irrigation, not irrigation, but I'll work on the drainage for the house and get that squared away as well. Got everything marked up and ready to go to start putting down lumber. Our main issue is that in the order they missed the anchor bolts and washers that we need to anchor everything down once we get it up. So that is a little bit frustrating, but it can't be helped with an order that size. Well, it could be, but I'm not gonna blow a gasket over it. They have the parts at the building center, so I will go and pick those up, and then we will continue from there. The next step for us is going to be getting started on actual construction of the building, which I'm pretty excited about. That should be a good adventure. Anyway, if you like this sort of stuff, please remember to like and subscribe and share these videos. It really does help the channel. And again, thank you to all the subscribers that we do have. While we don't have a great many, the great part is that we've got some really solid subscribers, and both Colleen and I appreciate that immensely. So thanks, and we will see you during the build.